What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Hello, hello. It is Thursday. It's 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you're at your place for the Healing Humanity Show with your guest host today, Christopher Roush, and I'm joined by the beautiful, amazing Serena Buffalino. What's going on, Serena? How are you doing this evening?
I'm super excited, Chris, because you're going to be the co-host with me this evening, and that's exciting because we have similar energetic, high energy, positive vibes. So it's exciting. I have a brand new Wi-Fi internet, so let's just pray to God that it works.
Yes, we'll cross both fingers. I'll cross my ankles right down below the camera, and we'll just make it happen. I mean, that's what we do here in life. We sit there and we roll with the punches. As so some of the people that might be watching this show know that I do a show called Raw and Unscripted, which you've been a guest on many, many times. And so we just roll through life raw and unscripted. We just go with the flow of whatever happens. And ultimately, our message here tonight is to be able to impart upon you guys out there watching how we can all help heal humanity. That's one of the founding reasons why we started this program a few short months ago, is to bring you this content every single week that will inspire you guys to think outside the box and really come from a place of gratitude and what it is that you guys can do in your own individual lives to bring end to suffering and what's going on all in the different parts of the world. And you guys know, if you have been watching us for any length of time, the Healing Humanity Show is all about help heal humanity, which my co-host here, Serena Buffalino, has started. And stay tuned. After we talk with our guest in just a few moments, we're going to be talking about some exciting things that are happening with Help Heal Humanity and how you guys out there in video land can help contribute to the cause of what it is that we're trying to do to help with food insecurity around the world and make a deeper impact on what it is that we got going on. Because the truth of the matter is the world is in chaos right now. No matter where you're at in your life and what you got going on, there's always something that we can do to make the world a little bit better place. That's my intention every single day when I wake up in this world, is to use my words and my actions to make this world a better place. And to be surrounded with people like you, Serena, is so inspiring. And I always start off both of my shows talking about Help Heal Humanity. And of course, I'm on the board of directors with you guys. So it's just an honor to be with you here today. And how's everything with you, my dear, aside from getting new Wi-Fi?
Everything is good. It's overwhelming, which, like you said, the beginning half of the show, we always bring in another charity and we spotlight the charity, and then the end of the show, it'll be about HHH. But it's overwhelming right now. Like you said, there's a lot going on in the world, but specifically there's a lot going on in our project countries right now. So really, I do have a feeling of overwhelmedness. I have like 8 days to pull like 4 things, like major projects off, as well as work full time. So that's it. We just got to get through the 8 days. And then after that, I can breathe.
Yeah. For probably another 2 days. And then you'll have 8 more things on your plate like you normally do.
No. No. I think.
Are you learning? Are you actually learning to slow down and not take on so many different things?
Yes. The only chaos right now is that there is some traumatic things happening in the world, and there's some serious things that just got thrown upon us, and we could easily say no. But when our people in our community are in a state of emergency, we at HHH, we step up, we take the risks, and we do what we need to do to help ensure that our communities, our students, and our families are safe. So that's kind of what is going on right now. And there's lots to share about that and what Help Heal Humanity is doing to help Haiti in particular right now. And I'm excited to talk about that. But I think we have to talk about something else first.
Yes, we got our guest coming up here. And so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fasten your seatbelts, because we have another amazing soul that's out there doing great work in the world. And our first guest tonight, our actually one and only guest tonight, is Velma Kirksey Tarver. And she established a global nonprofit called the Institute for Global Outreach. And their mission is to create awareness for global suffering to find solutions to alleviate the hardships. And tonight we're going to be focusing on their preschool feeding program, sponsorship and nurturing program, and student empowerment initiative. So please welcome to the Healing Humanity Show, Ms. Velma Kirksey Tarver. What's going on, Velma? Good evening. How are you doing this beautiful night?
I am doing well. Thank you all for having me. I feel so safe just listening to what you all are talking about. It's just a great environment to be in to share my story.
Well, we appreciate you for being here as well. And the beautiful thing about the show is we bring all sorts of different types of nonprofit organizations together, because we're all out there trying to do something to make the world a better place. And so for that, I thank you and appreciate you. And I'm excited to, I read a little bit about your bio and a little bit about your organization, but I would just love to know what inspired you to start this organization, and what have been some of the biggest successes and some of the challenges that you've had with doing that.
Well, first, my inspiration for starting IGO, which I started about 14 years ago, when I was really wanting to give back to a global organization, but they're so large, there are so many, I wasn't sure how I could reach the children. And during that time, as I was watching an infomercial, this thought came to me that I should start an organization myself. I'm actually in the rural area, in the South rather, Shreveport, Louisiana, where there aren't a lot of companies, a lot of big organizations that do global work. In fact, IGO is the only global nonprofit in the state of Louisiana that's working solely in another
Wow.
country. With they have the churches and they have schools they have missionaries that go over, or schools that do projects, but we're the only like global nonprofit that's founded by a sole individual in the state. And the thing for me was I wanted my giving to make a difference. And I didn't know who to reach out to because these organizations were so large. I'm sure there are many of them that are doing great work. I just didn't have the resource at that time. And when the thought came to me to start the organization, it was so big. Honestly, I say I'm on divine assignment because
Mhm.
I wouldn't have ever thought of doing it. Yet, when I got the feeling that it was something that I must do, I was afraid to do it and I was afraid not to. And I surrendered and I started actually saving money to start this little organization. And I was in Louisiana telling people about it. I'm going to start an organization. I'm going to work in Africa, a developing country. And they were like, okay, sure. But the power of your words with the actions and intention, you'd be surprised what will happen. And that's what happened for me. I just continued to save myself and I started the organization. I went to Ethiopia myself the first time with my husband. I didn't go
Wow.
with a team. I knew people that were from Ethiopia, only a few people, but I trusted that the way would be paved. And she connected me with people, companies there, or organizations, they call them NGOs there that I could interview with. I started out with 5 and I landed with 3. And really, when we started 14 years ago, I really, no, I started saving 14 years ago, but we actually started sponsoring children in 2010. So I guess that might have been 12 years ago. And I started with 30 children, 30. And we now have about 1,000 in our program.
Oh,
That is
Yes.
so
wow. That's
amazing.
amazing.
I'm excited about
Yeah.
that. Of course,
What a
I would
great
like for it to be a
program.
million, but I am excited that I've never received a grant. So we do a nonprofit. We do a fundraiser, a yearly fundraiser called the Walk for Humanity.
Oh, wow.
And
Check that out.
yeah, so yeah, I know. This was when you heal humanity. I thought about that. And I started, we started with the walk thinking people would not walk for a global cause. And by the third year, the walk had become the largest, one of the largest, the fourth largest walk, rather, in North Louisiana is the Walk for Humanity.
Wow.
So we have about 1,000 people that will come out and get involved and do this walk. And that's how we raise funds in addition to sponsors. But that's how I started out because I had to make people aware of us because in the South it's different because people don't know about global organizations. They're like, why not give here? Why not give where we
Mhm.
are? I got a lot of that at first, although people do know that I do a lot of community work.
What did you
However,
what
I
did you
never,
tell them about that? What did you tell them about that in response to that? Because we get that as well, because we help a lot of organizations like in Haiti and stuff like that. And I get that same question, like, well, what about here? So how do you respond to those people?
initially, I started out with, there's no comparison. I mean, really, there's
Yeah.
no comparison. And yet I found that didn't work as well, didn't go over well. So what I started saying was, why not both?
Oh, there you go.
Why not both? And people were really able to embrace that we can do one and we can do the other. So one or and we were using the wrong conjunction. You see, so I said, why not both? And people kind of got it like, yeah. So I said, well, what we do here is wonderful and we need to continue. However, if we will stretch and give a little, we'll be surprised what we can do in a developing country because we can help a lot. Yeah, and it worked. It actually worked in the South. And I also shared my story because I was given the words to say, just share your story. As I was going back and forth with this, what I call, like I said, my divine assignment. I'll say again, and I have to because it's just my reality. And I was thinking, why me? And I got because you can. So what am I going to tell people? Just tell your story. You are establishing an organization that you would donate to and that you feel safe with. And when I would go to churches and places like that, in fact, I was so nervous when I first started out, I had to take Toastmasters to learn to feel
Nice.
comfortable begging for money. You know, that's a different kind of presentation when you have to convince people to help you. And what I got was just tell how you feel and why you started the organization. And when I tell people that I did because I wasn't sure about how to reach the individuals that really needed the help. I would get nods, just like I'm getting with Selena. I would get nods of people out in the churches and organizations. They would just nod, like, yeah, we don't know. And I discovered that people will help. They will give. They just want to make sure they're helping someone.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of it again was like, okay, we are helping here as well. And guess what? You can touch someone oceans away that cannot survive without your generosity. Because we basically embrace suffering. So a lot of the children in our sponsorship and nurturing program, they lost their parents to AIDS. Many of them are HIV positive. And honestly, many of them, Chris, were at death's door.
Wow.
Because they had no money. The government provides the antiviral medication for them to take, but it burns their stomachs if they don't have food.
Mm.
And as a result, they wouldn't take it, and they were not doing well. So when people can see, that was the other thing that I do a lot of too, is I show results. They see me there, they see the children, they see how the children were before, and they're like, oh my God, I can actually help someone become a different person for an amount of money that I really don't miss per month. You know, and that was really what I started with, the sponsorship and nurturing program, and getting people involved and helping those children really that were in the HIV/AIDS prevention program in Ethiopia. And that's what got people's attention.
So I have a question. So I understand what you're doing, but what made you think of Ethiopia? Why Ethiopia? Like what's the story behind that one?
Really good question. Because one of my best friends, Saba Atmasu, was Ethiopian. I met her 30 plus years ago. I met her in a bank in California when I lived in California, and she thought I looked Ethiopian. So she waited to talk to me because she thought I could speak Amharic until she came and started talking to me. And I didn't speak Amharic, and I was from the South. She was like, oh God, you sounded like no one I knew, because I was a Southern person. And of course I didn't speak the language, but we ended up becoming really good friends. And I really, even with the country, I wasn't sure where I was going to start. I meditated and I prayed about that as well. And I got Ethiopia, and it made sense then because the foundation was being laid before I knew even that it was happening. And so what I got to was, I may look possibly, maybe they may see that, but what they were really seeing in me was that one day I would work in their country. So they were making that connection. So there were a lot of things that the universe kind of orchestrated around the success of IGO, and I simply followed, surrendered to what I felt I should do. And I started in Ethiopia. Now I want to go other places, but we're still small right now, and I have limited resources. And so as a result, I try to do as much as I can where I am now and just continue to expand with people that I know, because I know so many. I've been going there now for 12 years. So I've established a relationship with many people, and therefore I can cut through a lot of the admin fees and whatever that some people would have to pay because they don't know the right people, and go directly to my children, so that more resources are given to the people that actually really need the help.
That is so beautiful. And thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's really all about intention, passion, and purpose, and trusting in that inner whisper that you had. Talk to us about, I mean, because I talk to a lot of people every day, and so many people out there watching this and listening to this want to start their own nonprofit organization. They have a passion about solving something that's going on in the world here domestically or internationally. Talk to us about those first initial steps of starting your NGO or starting IGO and NGO and IGO. Bingo was his name. Starting that. And what are some of those ways that you overcame some of those challenges?
You know, that was the most challenging part, was the paperwork for the nonprofit status. And it was more, I think I sat on it for so long, and I realized it was more of a fear of actually going than doing the paperwork. And when I finally just sat down and started working, now I'm sure they have a lot more resources than they had back in 07, but because of all, you can find so much online, but I really just started going through my paperwork and calling when I had any questions. There's a number that there's a help number. I'm not sure what it is now, but back then I had this certain person that actually I would call 2 and 3 different people because I had so many questions that I didn't want to keep bugging the same person. So I might call and ask one person something, and then I hang up, and then I call right back to get another person until I finally got through all the paperwork. And once I sent it off, Chris, it was probably about 3 months, and I heard back from them. I didn't have the problems that I thought I would have, not with establishing the non or getting the nonprofit status. Going, that was the part that was a little bit more difficult because I didn't know anyone, but it was that gut feeling. And when for me, knowing that I had an intention, it was more unstoppable faith, and knowing that I was going to reach. Basically, not to go wasn't an option, and when not to go no longer became an option, then our lenses are shifted to see what's already there. When we think that we can't, we filter out what's available to us.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that wasn't an option anymore. I knew that I was destined to do this work. Therefore, I had to filter in what I needed to move me on my journey. And I'm still doing that because I want to do so much more.
Of course. And you wanted to come on here and talk about some of the programs that you have going on. Tell us about what are some of those new efforts that you're doing in those initiatives and what's going on with those.
Sure. So I started with the sponsorship program, and the preschool program kind of morphed from the sponsorship program because when I was visiting the children because I would go every year to visit the children. And that's one of the reasons why we were able to get so many sponsors involved, because like I was saying earlier, they would see me there and they would see me in their church talking. It was like, oh my gosh, she's actually over there. Like, that's her. Yeah, this works. So that was really good. And as I was visiting them one year, I was asked to see some preschoolers. And I discovered that the preschoolers were there to eat in essence. And they didn't have any money to buy food. The program, in developing countries, as you guys probably know, they don't have extra money. If they don't get the funding, there's nowhere to pull from. And this is what happened to 57 preschoolers. And when I came to see these little kids, I know Andy Wallum, he was setting me up because he knew once I saw them, my heart would just drop. And it did when I went to see them and I saw their faces. The look on these children's faces I'd never seen before in 3 and 4 year olds. They were there, and I remember asking him, I said, what's wrong with them? It was just this look. And he said, Velma, they're hungry. He said, we tell them to bring them to school so that we can educate them and bring them lunch. He said, but they have no money for lunch, so they'll come with nothing. And as soon as I returned home, my first order of business was to send funding to feed 50. And I didn't know how I was going to get it at that time because I just started. I'd been in business maybe 3 years, yet I didn't care. It was like, I have got to feed these children. And we started with 57 children, and now we have about 220 in the program. And what's so awesome about this preschool feeding program is that they come to school basically to eat. Yet, as a result of being in school, they're educated so that they can, once they're in elementary, they call it primary, they can really compete academically on a level playing field with the children that are more privileged because they've been eating every day. And seriously, those kids, when I came back the next year, they looked like totally different children. They were laughing, they were walking up to me, they were looking at me. And the difference that food made for children, just the meals we were giving them, I was amazed. I was really amazed. And then from that program, we started the Student Empowerment Initiative, which is a college program. And that's the one that's grown most because these are students that are in the universities. We have about 450 enrolled in 4 different universities in Ethiopia. We started with 50, then 150, and now we're 450 with the Ministry of Education. There are partners there for 400 of them anyway. And these students are my heroes because they suffered. Their lives parallel the lives of the children in the sponsorship program. Meaning they were orphans, most of them. Some of them may be HIV positive, but the main thing is they struggled all their lives. Yet even though they struggled, they still did well academically to the point of getting a scholarship to go to college.
Wow.
Yes, so their tuition and their room and board is paid. Yet the tragedy of that is after they go through all that, when they go to these universities, these that are far away, they can't hustle up any money because this is a developing country. There's nothing for them to get, especially in areas where they know no one. And many of them have to leave school and go home again because they don't have this money, what they call pocket change. I call it stipend. They don't have the money to even buy for the girls sanitary napkins or pen, pencils, books, transportation costs, copy costs. The $5 or $6, seriously, Chris, that they need, they don't have, and there's nowhere to get it from. And if without IGO, which is why this program is growing so quickly, because it's education, people want to help, especially college students, and they love to see that cap and gown. When they see the student that's been in the program and the student graduates, it's just amazing. But that program has grown so much because I feel like these are the students that have really paid the price. They've stood the test of time. They struggled. They're leaders. And now they deserve the opportunity to finish school.
Yeah. Serena's got a little bit of echo. Maybe try to mute yourself, Serena. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that you're sharing that. I can see the absolute passion in your eyes. I can see the absolute passion in your eyes and your heart. Aside from the walking fundraiser, I know for us at Help Heal Humanity, we do a variety of different ways to fundraise. And one of the things that we're looking at is getting into corporate organizations and trying to be a part of perhaps their payroll deduction, where they can donate to a charitable organization. What other ways are you finding to be able to raise funds to help support these programs?
First of all, that would be awesome. But what I'm doing now is with the walk, we have a lot of people. We have sponsors, the platinum, gold, and silver. So the bulk of what we raise is really not as a result of the walk. It's organizations like Entergy, AT&T. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield. Wow. They sponsor every year because they're not huge sponsorships. We have only one large sponsor, but they sponsor every year because they can see the results of our work and keeping them informed on what I'm doing. But that's the biggest. It will probably be the sponsors that donate because of IGO and our work. Yet the second largest area for me is the sponsorship and nurturing. That's where individuals sponsor children. And that's pretty major because we have about 250 sponsored children in our sponsorship and nurturing program. And this is where individuals pay $29 a month and they take care of the children, and they can really see the results of having sponsored the children. It's really a little cute thing that we do because we introduce the children to their sponsors. We take like a picture over, we put it in this form. It's really, really a cute little we call it, it's a gathering they call it a gathering there where all the children come together. And I'm always there when it happens, except the last couple of years due to COVID. And I show them their sponsor, because what these children need, a close second to food and water, is to know that people love them. There's someone out there that cares about them. It's amazing to me how important it is that you know their name. Or that when I come back, I've read the letter that they've written, so I can say, wow, you scored second in your class. Congratulations. And they're just like, wow, she knows. They get really excited because they realize that to people in the world, they matter.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've ever if you go to my website for the Walk for Humanity, you'll see the pictures of all the people at the walk, and you notice they're waving. They know when they come to the walk that they're waving because I'm going to make probably 200 copies of that photo and give it to all the sponsored children. And I say to them, do you see all these people? They all came for you. They came because they love you. And you should see how excited they get knowing that and relating to their individual sponsor. So when they see Chris's picture, or they see Selena's picture, and I tell them, I said, you see, this is the person that's really caring for you. And they're doing that because they love you. And then they always know love, they know what the word love means. So they'll smile when they hear love, and they can just feel what I'm saying too. So they're already excited. But when the translator tells them what I said, their eyes just light up because they realize that that's the person that's helping them. That's the person there's the reason that they're not begging or that they're not hungry anymore. And they make that connection and they take that home. And that same video, those same photos, I give to the sponsors. So And another thing that came to me is that it's not just for the children, it's also for the sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Because what it does for an individual to know that they've had that kind of impact on a child's life. I get sponsors that call me crying, bawling when they get those pictures or when I send them a video, because they'll see this little child saying, "Thank you, Chris, I love you." They say that. Thank you, because they, they're taught English in school. They don't speak it very well, but the words that we say all the time, like "I love you," the phrases like that, or "thank you," they can certainly say those things. So when someone here sees that, their hearts just melt. So it's twofold. It's like we're doing something for the sponsors, more than money can buy.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Pope says, when you help someone that can do nothing for you, that's the greatest gift of all. And then, of course, for the children, what they receive too. And then that exchange of energy, that's power in that. And you'd be surprised how these children grow and how they change and how they develop, knowing not only that they're being taken care of, but that they're loved and there are people in this world that care about them. Yeah. That's very important.
I'm smiling over here because we have very stories in that regard. Like yourself, my students wanted to build a school in Haiti for the kids that had gone through the earthquake back in 2010. And of course, I had no idea what I was doing. I was a full-time teacher. I didn't know anything about Haiti, but I did want to role model and inspire the youth that, we can really do anything we put our minds to, and we can actually create positive, sustainable change for people around the world. And so I was dealing with some of the most at-risk youth in the city of Toronto. And like you said, they were my inspiration to go there and to get started. And then once I went there and got started, it's like when you went to go see the children in the nursery room. Like when you see the conditions in which these people are living, when you see that they don't have house, they don't have water, they don't have food. If there is school is not free, right? So it's impossible for these families, for communities to rise above unless there are organizations such as ours who are stepping in and making that connection between, like you said, a donor and a student. And I remember having debates about that personal connection, and without that personal connection from the donor to the student and vice versa, it's easy for the donor to kind of, not stay committed. But the minute you make that connection and they see their kids, or, we also do educational programs. So we have a lot of kids that get involved. And so because our students in Haiti, they speak Creole, they don't speak English at all. What we do is like little cute keepsakes, like we'll make bracelets for each other, or we'll take pictures of ourselves and then we'll send it to the students. And when the students, like you said, when the students see a picture and have a bracelet made by somebody, it goes such a long ways, because it's exactly like you said, they're not alone. They know they're loved. There's somebody in the world who's caring for them. And even the words that we are speaking, I don't think humanity understands, how impactful it is, how life-changing it is, and how, like you said, it's not a lot of money to make such a good difference in this world and to help these kids who deserve what they need, which is nourishment, education, and love. And if we can do that for others, then, and if some of the most at-risk youth in the world can stand up to help other kids that are suffering greater than they are, it makes me wish that all humanity would just give a little bit more, and it's like Help Heal Humanity. We have not yet went for grants and or large corporations, but throughout COVID and the rest of it, it's harder to get funding. It's harder to maintain our programs. And so unless we have, and we have to start looking for grants, we have to start looking for bigger sponsors, because in order for us to continue to be successful at what we do, the only thing that is stopping us is the funding, right?
Right. And as you were saying that, I just got this feeling. It's like there's a verse in the Bible that says, wherever two or more are gathered, and there's a scripture, and it just came to me as you were saying that we just put it out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see it come back.
Yes. And every morning
Let's
I do.
claim it will come back. So I'm excited. I'm excited just to have you say it, because I got this feeling when you said it, because we're both wanting the same thing. We both have
Yeah.
similar stories, even
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
sure you're volunteering too,
Yeah.
and it's so we I feel it.
Yeah.
So it will not come back void.
Yeah. And that's it. I also honestly do believe that these, grassroots charity that are volunteering their time and their energy, I do feel like in the long run, the pureness of our heart and the kindness of our service will come back to us. It might not always come back financially, but it's, you speak such a beautiful language, and you speak so eloquently, and it's beautiful to hear you speak, because I do pray for us, and people like you, like myself, like Christopher, who again is here this evening giving his time and energy, because we are all doing this not for any gain of our own, but just for the greater good of others. And I pray that the people out there listening, knowing that we're volunteer based, knowing that we're successful, and the only thing that's preventing us from continuing to grow and and have a larger impact on others is just funding. So if everybody just gave a little bit, that would end up to helping a lot. And it sounds, I think a lot of people get discouraged because they think, I don't have a lot, but it doesn't take a lot, right?
It doesn't. And that was one of the reasons I made sure my sponsorship program was like the minimum that I could. One time I was actually losing because I was giving the families the bulk of it. But I did that because I wanted everybody to know, like I have students, I have people that are on a fixed income, to know that they can do something, they can give back, and it doesn't take much. So $40, because I started out with charging 25 for a sponsorship. So there's a big difference for some people in 25 and 40.
Yeah.
And as a result, I got plenty of people that were like, oh, $25, that's not bad. And if someone wanted to give more, they just sponsor 2, 3, 4 children, in a way to give back. Yet for that person that was on that serious fixed income, yet they still wanted to do something, they could also. I even tell people that some people that want to just give $10, said $10 matters. That helps feed a preschooler. So with everything that people want to give, I would always show them what they can do with those funds based on what their dollar equates to in Ethiopia. And so that's another big thing, is them understanding. I don't know if you all do that or not, but I make sure that people understand the difference in the value of what we give. And that's why we can do so much more. I know there.
I really wish that we could say that, and it actually makes no sense, because Haiti is is the poorest island in the entire world. And because they're an island, and because of everything that goes on in that country, it's not cheap. It's actually not cheap at all. Like, even when the volunteers come down and we go out to eat and we do what we do just to be okay ourselves, let alone others, then they start to realize, like, oh my goodness, this is expensive. And it's so sad, because of inflation, because of corruption, because of political wars, because of gang wars. The school fees are 150, but then they need the uniforms, and then they need the textbooks, and then they can't concentrate unless they have the meal program, right? So unfortunately, I wish we could lower our sponsorship prices down. We make $0 off our sponsorship program, but we do. We obviously show our finances as well, but I wish our sponsorship fees could be $40, because in Haiti, a bag of rice in Haiti is 27 US dollars. So it's hard.
Bag of rice.
Bag of rice in Haiti is 27.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
People that are struggling there, they don't stand a chance.
No, I mean,
horrible.
On the other half of the show, that's exactly what I'm going to start talking about, because Haiti is in a serious in serious lockdown, in serious danger. Actually, your president, Mr. Biden, and my prime minister here in Canada, Trudeau, they had a big meeting with the UN, and so the Dominican Republic, and a few people are starting to stand up and say to the UN and to all the leaders around the world, if we don't come in and help Haiti, that country is going to fall apart. Like, you can't walk down the street right now. Just, I think it's a complete state devastation, crisis, catastrophe, and that makes it even harder for people to trust us. But yeah, and that's
So what
why.
happens to the children? What's going on? What happens with them?
Well, I mean, everybody's in lockdown. Everyone's in their huts. And, the main goal, especially right now, is just to keep them nourished. So malnutrition at like 73% increase, and especially in the last 3 weeks, since this is all transpired due to increased costs of oil and living. When the average Haitian family lives off of $3 a day and you have a family of 5, that's not enough to do absolutely anything at all. So, this is why we're in the process of sending a shipping container with food and emergency items. This is why we're doing a call to action to help continue our student sponsorship. And, and we're doing I'm doing a bike ride for humanity next week. So I love Walk for Humanity, because I'm like, it's so aligned to help heal humanity, and our missions are very, very similar about educating the youth, keeping them nourished, giving them hope, and giving them an opportunity to succeed in life. So I really like your organization. And I think, is your website up here?
We're proud. igocares.org.
Okay.
I think I posted it. I don't know where.
Yeah, I was just actually asking Barbara in the back channel if she could put that up there for us. One last question I have for you before we let you go. I mean, this is just a phenomenal thing of what you're doing, but you mentioned you're doing stuff locally there in Shreveport. Talk to us about what you're doing there locally, because we want to highlight that as well.
Yeah, what I do local. Well, for me, it's several things, because my husband is in a legislator. I don't like to say politics. And as a result, we get involved in quite a few community efforts. So whether or not it's something that sometimes, and what I do, we do have a scholarship foundation where we award scholarships in the Louisiana area to students that are attending either a university or a junior college or even a technical school. And we've awarded probably about $75,000 in scholarships to different students. And in addition to that, what I do is I try to get involved in what someone else is doing. Like, for example, back when they needed masks, I actually did a petition to the governor, because I thought, they should have been wearing masks at that time, especially early on, because Louisiana had the highest death rate next to New York, I think it was. It was Louisiana. It was really bad here. And other efforts, whether or not it's feeding people that were for tornado victims in a hotel, they were just getting Red Cross food, and that's sort of kind of getting with all the different churches that are my partners for my work, and asking all of them to provide a hot meal for the individuals that were in the hotels, because I saw the food from the Red Cross and it just didn't look that tasty.
Yeah.
So it's more efforts like that, wanting to help out wherever I can, and what's going on. And it's usually, sometimes it's some of the churches that are participating in some kind of effort. But our biggest effort would definitely be our scholarship foundation.
That is beautiful. Velma, thank you so much for being here and for shining your light in the world. We'll make sure that your contact details are put in the show notes and everything else, so people can contact you and donate to your cause, and just keep shining your light. And you're always welcome back here on the Healing Humanity Show. If you have updates or whatever that's going on, some new programs or some new success stories, by all means, reach out to us and let us know, because we'd like to have you come back on here and share those beautiful stories, because you're out there making a difference, and you're a shining example of what it means to go out there and help heal humanity. So continue doing that. And thank you so much for being here on the show with us today.
Likewise. Thanks for having me, both of you. I've enjoyed the show. I've enjoyed listening to the both of you, and your energy is just awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Help Heal Humanity is an internationally registered charity mindfully designed to provide the world's most vulnerable communities with access to education, food, support, and love. We build the infrastructure, develop the programming, and foster the global connections necessary to support the charity and future of the people in our project countries. Through unconditional giving, Help Heal Humanity achieves its mission to inspire and love those in need in a compassionate and sustainable way. Our vision is to make conscious giving a widespread global practice through kindness and servitude. Get involved now and be part of our Help Heal Humanity family.
The Help Heal Humanity family. I love that. Wasn't she beautiful? I mean, what did you think of that conversation?
Yes, no, she's definitely a kindred spirit. I mean, you can see the way she speaks, her heart, her soul, that it's all connected and it's all, focused on making a difference in the world. So I always love our guests, and I learned so much through our guests.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. I love the fact that she does a walk for humanity. I mean, obviously, we've coined the term as far as Help Heal Humanity goes and everything else. But one of the things I'm excited for is to spend the next few minutes talking to you about some of the updates and the programs of what we got going on. You briefly mentioned during that conversation of the shipping container. Talk to us about that and talked about the exciting things that we're going to be sending over to Haiti and the current things that we're doing for Help Heal Humanity.
All right. So, yeah, we have quite a number of things happening right now. Of course, it's September. It's back to school. Everyone has gone back to school. We have a student sponsorship program for 100 students to attend our school. So we've been working actively on getting all those 100 kids back in school. School started, I believe it was September 7th. It ran for 1 week, 1.5 weeks, and now it's been shut down. So everything in Haiti, the banks, the markets, even if you wanted to go and get groceries, there is nowhere to go to get groceries. So like the markets are completely shut down, the banks are shut down, and the businesses are shut down. And the current major crisis right now is petrol oil. And I remember when it was exactly a year ago today, Help Heal Humanity was on the grounds for the emergency relief. And I was telling people that our team, we were literally at it 24 hours a day. And obviously we were up at 6 a.m. We were hitting all the communities. We were getting in, because in Haiti, it gets dark by 7 and you got to be inside. It's pitch black. There's no electricity. There's no lights. These are things that we don't even think about, right?
Right. Wow.
We would get home, and then there would be an entire crew of guys who would spend the whole night looking for gas to fill up our tank for the morning. It is that difficult to get gas in Haiti. And right now, the major protests and riots are because of the increased costs in gas. And what is happening is the little bit of fuel that is being sent to Haiti is going to a gas station, and then a few people are going, buying it all, and then they're going and selling it on the black market for 3 or 4 times the price. So we're talking, like I said, again, about a country who doesn't have electricity. They don't have running water. They don't have employment. They don't have the basic, there's no sanitation, absolutely no sanitation in Haiti. It's everyday life is, especially in Port-au-Prince and certain slums of Port-au-Prince, it's like you're literally walking through a dumpster. I mean, the smells, the colors, like you can see the green and the blue and the algae and all the things floating in there. And that's just their sewer system, and there is no water. Wow. So like when you don't have any of that, and then you can't even go to get gas if you had a vehicle. And then, I actually, Serena, that was one of the times that my life was a little bit threatened last year, was because I was trying to confront the guys selling the gas on the black market. And I took out my camera so I could tell the story, and they got extremely upset. And, in Haiti, we walk around with a team of 35 Haitian people. I'm only the only kind of foreigner there. So the minute the street men who had the gas on the black market, the minute they tried to come after me, bam, every single Haitian in the area stood up for me. But I mean, that's what's happening right now. So with the increase in fuel prices, I mean, we're feeling that all over the world. You're feeling it in the US, we're feeling it in Canada. It's, you know, it's an economic crisis. We don't have, everything has increased. I mean, going to the grocery store is beyond expensive. Going to fill up our cars is beyond expensive. But somehow we're still able to work online, get paid online, and, you know, make do, even though it's hard. But this country couldn't make do on its best day of its life, let alone right now. And so in response to that, our shipping container in particular that is going out in less than 2 weeks, that is being filled with condensed milk, condensed weed, non-perishable food items. We also have like the sanitation stuffs, the masks, the gloves, because there is no running water. There is, you know, a jug of hand sanitizer is it's safety for them. You know what I mean? Like to be able to clean their hands, to be able to do things. The masks, gloves, buckets to get water is like, and that water bucket ends up not only becoming a water bucket to, you know, to do your bathing, it's also where you do your laundry. It's also where you wash your dishes. It's where you take your shower. There's multi-purposes for the bucket, right? So we give them a buckets. We also have, well, we were very fortunate. We had a sporting company donate a ridiculous amount of soccer equipment to us. And so we're going to be able to start, you know, some soccer leagues in the slums. But the majority of the stuff that's going in the shipping containers, again, it's food, it's water, it's non-perishable items, buckets, and things that they can use, like hygiene items, detergent, things that they can use in the immediate while they're on lockdown. And then we also, again, our student sponsorship, we're trying to raise money, and we have $100,000 campaign to send our kids back to school when school does open. And then next weekend, we have the big bike ride for humanity, right? So it's a busy week for Help Heal Humanity, that's for sure. And I just, you know, every day, I'm not lying to you, when I wake up and I got a 35-minute drive to work, I do my meditations and I pray and I ask, you know, for us to receive the funds that we need, for us to receive the support that we need. And everything is all in support of Help Heal Humanity being able to do what we know for sure we can do successfully, even in the time of crises in Haiti. We just need the funding to be able to do it.
Serena, that is so heartbreaking to think about that. I mean, I know me personally, when I go to throw food away, like on my plate, it comes to my mind like, geez, I feel so bad. And we don't really waste food, but I feel like, oh my God, I think about the people in Haiti would just love to have this. I mean, so the fact that what we're doing and sending that container over there and being the light, like Velma was talking about, you know, the fact that when they know that we care and that there's somebody that's not giving up hope on them in a world where you think that people will be, I mean, what we're doing is absolutely phenomenal, and being able to send them to school and be able to nourish them and be able to give them some sort of hope. And hopefully the United Nations and somebody, they can get together and somehow do something. I mean, it's that catch-22, like it's not our country to go in there and do something, but at the same time, you got a humanitarian situation that is just absolutely catastrophic. So the fact that Help Heal Humanity, yourself and all of us here on the board, and the people that we have sponsoring the kids, and the organization that we have donating the items, I mean, all that little bit, you know, goes to help to make a dent in something that otherwise would be, you know, unimaginable. So it's pretty phenomenal in what we're doing there. So how long do you think the lockdown is going to happen for?
Well, you know, we're also very fortunate in Haiti. Our board of directors, especially our president, Sir Caleb Lussan, he is head of Haiti Task Force. He's, you know, he is a Rotarian, the president for Rotarian clubs all across all the islands. So he's heavily involved with the people in power and trying to get the information that we need. So right now, the lockdown is supposed to end October 3rd, but we already know from sources that it will probably extend maybe into November. And
wow.
I mean, by that point, if there isn't a major coming together to support Haiti, we will see hundreds and thousands of people die just of malnutrition. You know, like I said, it was over 600 in the last 48 hours. And this is just people at home dying of starvation. You know, if you hit the streets, because I think it was you, Chris, I think you asked me, you said, well, they're on lockdown. How do they enforce that? And I was like, if you go outside, you get killed. If you go outside, you get killed. And people know not to mess. When gangs have taken over the country, when people are so desperate, they will kill you for a bowl of rice. They will kill you if you go outside, because if you go outside, then you're not paying attention to the protest and the request of the people. So you're being, you know, you're not being obedient. So you get shot, you get killed. And it's not, I mean, if anybody right now Googled Haiti news today, you will be blown away with what is happening. Why it doesn't make headline news is another story to talk about.
It is.
But
no, I was going to say,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, we got to wrap up right now, but I just want to just thank you, Serena, personally. You know, it's such an honor to work alongside you and be on the board of directors with Help Heal Humanity, and the fact you're busting your ass and doing everything you possibly can. I just hope people that are watching this just take this to real heart. No matter, like we said before, if it's $10, it's $20, it's $100. If you can call your organization and perhaps get us on the charitable donation funds with your human resources department, whatever you could possibly do, we can all band together and make this world a better place for who we are and what we do. Support us. Go to helphealhumanity.org. Go to us and volunteer to donate for whatever you can with the bike ride we have coming up, and just continue to come back here every single week as we continue to bring healing humanity awareness to everybody and what we can do. So if you have an idea for a guest or a topic that you'd love to see us have here on the show, by all means, let us know. Send us an email, send us a message, and we would love to support that. And we just appreciate you guys all for being here. Let us know what we can do for you. And we will be back here next week, same time, same channel, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We love and appreciate you. The Help Heal Humanity Show. Myself, Christopher Rausch, and the beautiful Serena Buffalino.
I love you, Chris. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
I love you too. And we love Barb.
Yes, of course we love Barbara.